So this next solo is based on a John Lee Hooker inspired boogie, reminiscent of Boom Boom or even Grange by ZZ Top. It's a very common groove in the blues, and a lot of it kind of focuses around one chord, you know, rather than a 12-bar format. So it's really, really good for these kind of static jams. First of all, we're going to look at the rhythm guitar part, and on the backing track, I actually played this in open G tuning. I'll just quickly, by the magic of editing, switch to a guitar in that tuning and demonstrate what I played. But it is possible to play it in standard tuning as well. So open G tuning gives us D, G, D, G, B, D. So you get an open G chord with a D in the bass. So with this, it's all open strings, kind of bouncing between the open A string, or G string in this case, and the open D and G string. And then just moving, kind of going from the 3rd fret on the A string or G string to the 5th fret. The likelihood is, in a jam situation, you're not just going to be able to, you know, have the luxury of kind of tuning down to open G tuning just to play a rhythm part. So it's possible to play this in standard tuning, which would give us something like this. So we're playing those open D and G strings, but we're actually fretting this G note on the 3rd fret on a low E string, and then 1st fret on the A string, then open D and G strings, 3rd fret on the A string. That's all that's going on underneath. Even though we're not playing a G7 chord, it's kind of implicit in the harmony that this is kind of like a dominant, static dominant chord that's kind of going on. So again, with the solo, there's a lot of kind of call and response phrasing. You know, each new phrase has something to do with the last, and you know, kind of a lot of repetition in there as well. So I would suggest, again, listen to the solo a bunch of times before you attempt to learn it, just so you can internalize it and memorize it. But we kind of start with this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So it kind of starts on the 2nd beat. This is another cool kind of phrasing tip, that all of your phrases don't need to start on the 1st beat. You can kind of let it breathe. You know, sometimes it has more impact to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So what we've got here, again, it's that bend that I do a lot, that kind of slidey bend. We bend on the, we're kind of, you know, in home position, or position 1 of the G minor pentatonic scale. We're bending 5 on the G, up a whole step, and we kind of let the bend drop, but at the same time as we release, we slide up to the 6th fret, slide up to the flat 5 there on the G string, and then slide it back down to the 5th fret, and then pull off to 3. And then that's 5 on the D, 3 on the G, 5 on the G. And then, very common blues lick. So what we're doing there, we're sliding 5 on the G up to 7 on the G, catching 8, flat 7 of the chord, of the scale and of the chord, on the B string, coming back down. So that's on the G string it's 7, slide down to 5, pull off to 3, back to 5. And then we pick up this double stop at the end. So it's the third and the fifth of the chord, in this case, fourth fret on the G, third fret on the B, but we slide into it from one fret below. So we get this phrase, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And then the next phrase, so the first part's the same. Until we get that far, instead of coming back down, we go. So we're kind of bouncing between the fifth and the seventh degree of the chord. In other words, seventh fret on the G and sixth fret on the B. Before taking it up to the root note on the eighth fret of the B. I may have slid back down to the flat 7 again. I may not. It's just something knowing me, it's such a me thing to do that I probably did do it, but may not. The tab's going to be more accurate than this kind of breakdown anyway. So if you put it all together, you get two licks that kind of sound like a question and an answer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And then the response. The next lick, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So that's kind of straight out of a kind of Albert King, Stevie Ray Vaughan kind of playbook. Nothing clever about it in terms of, you know, kind of note choice. It's just pure G minor pentatonic. But we kind of get this kind of gnarly bend on the 8th fret on the high E, where you can catch the B string, not thinking about what notes you're bending to. As long as you're bending up a whole step on the high E, the underlying kind of overtones aren't, you know, don't necessarily need to be tuneful. In fact, it's, you know, what they're kind of called train wreck bends sometimes, where Stevie would do that, you know, kind of Albert King thing. But what we do, we kind of bend, let it come down, and then that's 6 on the high E, hammer to 8. So 8 on the B, back to 6 on the high E. And then this is almost that lick. I do that a lot. It's kind of a B.B. King thing. You hear John Mayer do that as well. So that's 6 on the high E, and 8 on the B, pull off to 6 and slide down to 3. That's the second part of it. So that's 5 on the G, 3 on the B, 3 on the high E, tease that slightly sharp. Sorry, 3 on the G, tease that slightly sharp. And then to the root note, so 5 on the D string, and then pull off to the flat 7 on the D. So that lick, although it's different from the first two, it follows a similar rhythm. You know, it's got something to do with it. If you kind of put it all together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Then response. Similar rhythm. It's got a kind of slightly meaner sound to it, but it still starts on the 2, you know. But then, when I mentioned in the previous solo, the rule of threes, you know, kind of playing three licks that have got something in common, and then, you know, your fourth phrase being something different that you can kind of get away with because you kind of built up a theme. I don't know if that's the rule of threes, but that's how I interpret the rule of threes. So we get a diminished half whole lick that goes like this. Slowly. It's harder to play slowly. So what we've got there, this is all kind of in blues tonality anyway, because we've got the flat 7, the root, flat 7, major 6th. But we kind of do this series of kind of pull-offs and slides, hammer-ons, pull-offs and slides. So we've got 3 on the D string, hammer to 5, pull off to 3, slide down to 2, slide back up to 3, and then hammer on to 5. And then we go through the minor third to the major third, so that's 3, hammer to 4 on the G. That's 3, 5, back to 3 on the B string. And then so had a similar lick in the previous solo. That's 5 on the B. This is all on the B string. So 5, hammer to 6, pull off to 5, pull off to 3, slide down to 2, back to 3. And then 5 to 3 to 5 on the B again. So bend up half a step, so you're bending that major 6th up to a flat 7. We've got that little slidey bend, so you bend up half a step on the 5th fret on the B, and then release it and slide up to 6, back down to 5, slide back down to 5, and then pull off to 3, and then 5 on the G to 3 on the B, and then that's a little kind of 6th shape where we play flat 3 to major third to root. So in other words, 3 on the G, hammer to 4, and then 3 on the high E. So again, you know, it's got these symmetrical scales can sound bluesy. They give you a slightly kind of outside sound, but they still have a lot of the notes in the blues tonality. You know, in here, right here, we've got the flat 7, the root, the 6th, flat 3, major third, 5th, 6th, flat 7, 6th, 5th, flat 5, which is in the blues scale. So it's all kind of fair game. But just gives you a little bit of a, you know, a little bit of kind of an element of danger, a bit of an edge. So that's the first part of the solo. Let's put it all together. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. One.